Lauren Betts is a beast. An absolute beast. And guys, she played against the ones of the Atlanta Dream today, and she was dominant on a team that's got some length, got Angel Reese. We'll get to the Angel in a second because Kiki Iriafen, my favorite power forward in the league, absolutely dominated Angel today and made her look silly.
Lauren Betts put up 15 points in the first half alone against Atlanta, 6 of 8 from the field. But here's what the stat sheet doesn't capture. The way she controlled the paint, the way defenders bounced off her, the way she made professional basketball players look like they'd never seen a legitimate post presence before. This wasn't a rookie finding her footing. This was a dominant performance that raises one very uncomfortable question for Dallas. Did you just blow the most important pick in franchise history?
An inside touch to Lauren Betts.
Just dominant. Grabs that board. Look at that. My God. Seriously. Inside from Kiki. Wow. I mean, look at that pass. Y'all see that pass? Are you kidding me? How about the jumper? Inside, back inside, banging under the... That looked like that might have been against Angel. I don't know. We'll stop it right there.
Watch that sequence again. The footwork, the touch around the rim, the court vision on that pass from Kiki Iriafen. That's not potential. That's a fully formed offensive weapon. And when you add that jumper to her arsenal, you're looking at a player who can operate from 15 feet and in with equal effectiveness. Dallas took a guard with upside. Washington took a center who's ready right now. The contrast becomes even more stark when you look at who Betts was playing against. Kiki Iriafen, who might be the best power forward in the league when healthy, was feeding her perfect passes all night. The Mystics have length at every position, something Indiana has struggled with all season, while the Fever are trying to figure out how to protect their perimeter players. Washington built a front court that can dominate physically on both ends.
In case you're wondering, Angel Reese, still not good from the field. 3 for 7, 10 points. I mean, good God almighty. Not good. By the way, Mystics defeated the Dream. It was ugly. No doubt about it.
And then there's Angel Reese. 3 for 7 from the field, 10 points total. The player who was supposed to be Chicago's franchise cornerstone got absolutely worked by Kiki Iriafen in this game. That block you just saw wasn't a fluke. It was a statement. Iriafen has the size, the timing, and the defensive instincts to neutralize players who rely on athleticism over skill. But what happened next tells you everything you need to know about where Angel is mentally right now. Because getting blocked is part of basketball. How you respond to it determines whether you're going to be great or just good.
Speaking of ugly, let's just address this. When does lame-ass Atlanta Dream fix the lighting and change the court color so you can actually watch games on TV or the app that doesn't look like you're watching midnight basketball? I watched this game and I was like, it's like getting a root canal watching anything that takes place in this arena.
That's frustration. That's a player who knows she just got embarrassed on national television and doesn't have an answer for it. Angel Reese came into this league with massive hype, a championship pedigree from LSU, and a confidence that bordered on arrogance. But professional basketball is exposing the gaps in her game that college competition never did. She's not efficient from the field. She doesn't have a reliable post game against length. And when things aren't going her way, the body language deteriorates. Compare that to what we're seeing from Lauren Betts. Same rookie class, completely different level of composure and effectiveness. Betts isn't trying to prove anything to anyone. She's just playing her game, using her size and skill to dominate in ways that translate immediately to winning basketball.
Truly, it is like, why are we playing in the back cave? Could somebody let me know that? I mean, it feels so, it's so ridiculous. I mean, my God, there I am. It's horrible. You shouldn't have to take depression medicine to get through a basketball game because of the literal arena aesthetics.
The Mystics won this game convincingly, and it wasn't particularly close once Betts got going. But we need to talk about something that's been driving viewers insane all season: the Atlanta Dream's arena situation. The lighting in that building makes every game look like it's being played in a cave. The court color doesn't translate on television, and the overall aesthetic is so depressing that fans are actively avoiding watching Dream home games. This isn't a minor issue. The WNBA is fighting for mainstream attention, trying to capitalize on the Caitlin Clark bump in ratings, and one of their franchises is playing in conditions that look semi-professional at best. When casual fans tune in and see this, what message does that send about the league's standards?
At Renee Montgomery needs to go and bring Loeffler back. Yeah, remember, they actually chased the businesswoman out of town because they didn't like the businesswoman's politics. This league sucks. I mean, honestly. So, Kiki in the house, let's watch.
And that speaks exactly to both what you were.
Let's just check it out.
Here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to say out loud. The Atlanta Dream chased away a successful owner because of political disagreements, and the franchise has been a disaster ever since. Renee Montgomery came in with great intentions, but the business side of running a WNBA team requires more than good intentions. It requires investment in infrastructure, in player development, in creating an environment that looks and feels professional. Kelly Loeffler wasn't perfect, but she invested in the product. She made sure the Dream had resources, and when the league and the players pushed her out, they celebrated it as a victory for social justice. But what did Atlanta get in return? A poorly lit arena, a struggling team, and a game day experience that makes people not want to watch.
I gotta tell you, the Mystics, holy smokes. Holy smoke. They got some Centron, Iriafen. I mean, what are we doing here? Betts, look out. With Kiki and Betts on the team, they ain't got to worry about length. They don't have the same problems the Indiana Fever's got on length.
Now let's get back to the main story, because what's happening with Lauren Betts isn't just about one game. It's about a pattern that's emerging across the league. The Mystics have Betts. They have Kiki Iriafen when she's healthy. They have Shakira Austin providing additional size. That's 3 legitimate post players who can all operate in the 15-foot range and protect the rim on defense. Compare that roster construction to what Dallas did. They took the girlfriend. That's the phrase that's circulating right now. And while it sounds harsh, it's grounded in a real concern. Did Dallas make their draft decision based on basketball fit, or did they make it based on who would keep their existing star happy? Because if it's the latter, that's organizational malpractice.
That looks dominant. Dallas Wings executives looking over in that direction going, oh, crap. And we took the girlfriend. Tell me what you think. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're still subscribed. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and...
The WNBA draft isn't deep enough to recover from mistakes at the top. When you have the first overall pick, you need to nail it. You need to take the player who's going to change your franchise trajectory, not the player who fits your current roster's comfort level. And right now, watching Lauren Betts dominate, while Dallas tries to integrate a player who might need 2 years to develop, the Wings front office has to be feeling sick. Because here's what makes this even worse. Everyone saw this coming. College basketball fans who watched Betts at UCLA knew exactly what she was. A legitimate 7-footer with soft hands, good footwork, and the ability to score efficiently in the post. She wasn't a project. She wasn't a gamble. She was the safest pick in the draft. And Washington got her at number 2.
But Lauren Betts, guys, Lauren Betts should have been the number 1 pick. The draft was fake as F. Agreed. Agreed. First half, Lauren Betts, 15 points. 6 of 8 from the field. Guys, she was unfreaking stoppable.
Look at that dominance. That's not a rookie trying to figure out the professional game. That's a player who's been ready for this level since her junior year at UCLA. The physicality doesn't bother her. The speed of the game doesn't overwhelm her. She's just bigger, stronger, and more skilled than most of the players trying to guard her. And when you pair her with Kiki Iriafen, who might be the most underrated player in the league, you've got a front-court combination that can compete with anyone. Harrigan's passing ability opens up the entire offense. Her defensive instincts allow Washington to switch on pick and rolls without getting exposed. And her basketball IQ means she's always in the right position to make winning plays. The Mystics didn't just get lucky in this draft. They identified a need. They drafted for fit and talent, and they're already seeing the results. Meanwhile, Dallas is hoping their pick eventually develops into something special, and Indiana is dealing with the same length issues they've had all season.
This is going to get real ugly for you-know-who. Get out. Get out. She got all kinds of ball on Angel Reese, but that wasn't even the worst one. Angel ended up getting all up in her feelings here. Oh, she gets mad. Oh, yeah, you got the shit blocked out of you. I mean, come on. Angel's mad she got her shot blocked. Yeah, Kiki's a beast.
The lighting situation in Atlanta has become a running joke among WNBA fans, but it represents something more serious, a lack of standards across the league. The NBA would never allow one of its franchises to play in conditions this poor. They would mandate upgrades, provide resources if necessary, and ensure that every arena met minimum requirements for television broadcast quality. But the WNBA doesn't have that kind of leverage or resources. So you get situations like Atlanta, where the game day experience is so subpar that it actively hurts the league's brand. And when people criticize the WNBA for not being taken seriously, this is Exhibit A. You can't demand respect while allowing franchises to operate in conditions that look semi-professional. The solution isn't complicated. The Dream need to invest in better lighting, change the court design to something that translates on television, and create an atmosphere that makes people want to watch. But that requires money, and it requires ownership that's willing to prioritize the fan experience over other considerations. Here's what makes the Lauren Betts situation so significant for the future of the league. The WNBA has been criticized for years about the quality of post-play. People compare it unfavorably to the NBA, pointing out that the women's game lacks dominant big players who can control games from the paint. And while that criticism has often been unfair and rooted in bias, there's been a kernel of truth to it. The league hasn't had enough players who can operate effectively with their back to the basket. Lauren Betts changes that narrative. She's not just competent in the post, she's dominant. She's got the size to play through contact, the skill to finish with either hand, and the basketball IQ to know when to score and when to pass. That's exactly the kind of player the WNBA needs to showcase, because it demonstrates that the women's game has evolved beyond just perimeter shooting and transition offense. But here's where the Dallas decision becomes even more questionable. The Wings already had perimeter talent. They already had players who could create off the dribble and shoot from distance. What they didn't have was a legitimate post presence who could punish smaller lineups and provide a safety valve when the perimeter game wasn't working. Lauren Betts would have given them that immediately. Instead, they drafted for fit with their existing star player, and that decision is going to haunt them for years. Because in 5 years, when Lauren Betts is a multiple-time All-Star and one of the faces of the league, Dallas is going to look back at this draft and wonder what they were thinking. They had the chance to build something special, and they chose comfort over ceiling. The Washington Mystics, meanwhile, are building something dangerous. They've got size, they've got skill, and they've got players who understand how to play together. Kiki Harrigan's ability to facilitate from the forward position opens up so many options offensively. When she's on the court with Lauren Betts, defenses have to make impossible choices. Do you double Betts in the post and leave Harrigan open for kick-out passes? Do you play straight up and let Betts score one-on-one? There's no good answer. And defensively, the Mystics can switch everything. They can protect the rim. They can guard multiple positions without getting exposed. That's the kind of roster construction that wins championships. And Washington did it by making the obvious choice when Dallas overthought the situation. Now let's talk about Angel Reese, because her struggles in this game represent a larger issue. She came into the league with enormous hype, a national championship from LSU, and a personality that made her a marketing dream. But the on-court production hasn't matched the off-court attention, and that gap is becoming harder to ignore. 3 for 7 from the field isn't acceptable for a player who operates primarily in the paint. That's a 43% shooting percentage from a position where you should be converting at 60% or higher. And it's not like she's taking difficult shots. She's getting good looks. She's just not finishing them consistently. That's a skill issue, not a situation issue. Compare that to Lauren Betts, who shot 75% in the first half alone. Same position, same role, completely different level of efficiency. And the difference isn't just physical, it's technical. Betts has better footwork, softer hands, and a more refined understanding of how to create space in the post. Those are things that should have been developed in college, and the fact that Reese is still struggling with them at the professional level is concerning. The body language after getting blocked by Kiki Harrigan tells you everything you need to know about where Angel is mentally. She's frustrated. She knows she's not playing up to expectations. And instead of responding with better effort and smarter play, she's letting that frustration affect her demeanor on the court. That's not a recipe for success at this level. Chicago invested heavily in Angel Reese, both financially and from a marketing perspective. They built their entire brand around her rivalry with Caitlin Clark. They gave her a prominent role in their offense, and they expected her to be a cornerstone piece for years to come. But if the efficiency doesn't improve, if the skill development doesn't happen, that investment is going to look questionable very quickly. The contrast with Lauren Betts couldn't be more stark. Betts came into the league with less hype, lower expectations, and a more understated personality. But she's producing at a higher level immediately. And she's doing it with a maturity and composure that suggests she's going to be a star for a very long time. That's what happens when you prioritize skill development over social media presence. Dallas Wings executives are watching all of this unfold, and they have to be second-guessing everything about their draft process. How did they miss on Lauren Betts? How did they convince themselves that another player was a better fit? And most importantly, how do they recover from this mistake when the draft capital to fix it doesn't exist? The WNBA draft only has 3 rounds. There aren't enough picks to trade up and fix mistakes. There aren't enough quality players available in free agency to paper over roster construction errors. When you blow a top pick, especially the first overall pick, you're stuck with that decision for years. And right now, Dallas is stuck watching Washington build a contender with the player they should have taken. What makes this particularly painful is that Lauren Betts isn't just good. She's exactly what modern basketball needs from a center. She can score in the post, she can step out and hit jumpers, she can pass out of double teams, and she can protect the rim defensively. That's a complete skill set that translates to winning at the highest level. And Washington got her with the second pick because Dallas overthought the situation. The league is noticing. Coaches around the WNBA are watching Lauren Betts and adjusting their defensive schemes. They're game planning specifically to stop her, which is something you usually don't see with rookies. That level of respect comes from production, and from the understanding that if you play her straight up, she's going to dominate you. Meanwhile, the player Dallas took with the first pick is still trying to find her role, still adjusting to the speed of the professional game, still figuring out how to contribute consistently. That's fine for a mid-first round pick. That's not acceptable for the #1 overall selection. You take first overall to get a player who changes your franchise immediately, not eventually. So where does this leave us? The Washington Mystics look like they might have found a cornerstone piece who can anchor their franchise for the next decade. The Dallas Wings are hoping their pick develops into something special while watching the player they passed on dominate from day one. And the Atlanta Dream are playing in an arena that looks like a cave while their franchise continues to struggle both on and off the court. The WNBA is at a crossroads. The league has more attention than ever before, thanks largely to Caitlin Clark and the increased media coverage around this rookie class. But with that attention comes scrutiny, and situations like the Atlanta Arena or the Dallas draft decision get magnified. Fans who are new to the league are watching and forming opinions about whether this is a professional product worth their time and money. Lauren Betts is giving them a reason to say yes. Her game is beautiful to watch, her efficiency is remarkable, and her potential seems limitless. She's exactly the kind of player the WNBA should be promoting, because she demonstrates that the women's game has elite talent that can compete and entertain at the highest level. But the league also needs to fix the obvious problems. Atlanta needs a better arena situation. Dallas needs to explain how they missed on such an obvious pick. And teams across the league need to prioritize skill development and roster construction over other considerations, because if the WNBA wants to capitalize on this moment of increased attention, they